Hello everybody, my name is Simisola and welcome to IG's Career Talk, where we are sharing perspectives on emerging trends, career paths and opportunities in life science. Today we are going to be having a pool of experts from diverse fields of life sciences such as forensics, genomics, bioinformatics, molecular biology and so on. Come with me and enjoy!
It is my honor and my pleasure, extreme pleasure, to be moderating this panel session today. So I hope we've enjoyed the virtual session so far. If we have, can I see a show of hands? If we enjoyed the virtual session so far? I know I did. But now it's time to go on to the next session, which is going to be the panel discussion on life science, emerging trends, career paths, and opportunities. This discussion is meant to illuminate the various career paths that are available to us as life scientists, and to also show us the opportunities that are possible in life sciences. I would like to thank the organizers for putting in so much effort into gathering such a diverse and distinguished set of panelists. A round of applause again for our panelists. So we're a bit short on time, so we'll be moving a bit fast, but I advise everybody to listen carefully and make notes, because at the end of this session, there will be a quick Q&A session. So on to the first question, and I would like to throw it out to everybody. What motivated you to pursue a career in life science? And particularly, how did it shape you into becoming one of the top professionals in your field?
In my own case, when I finished my secondary school, I went to basic studies at Ilorin, College of Sciences, Ilorin. There I finished my basic studies and then applied to University of Ibadan, which then, if you don't go to University of Ibadan, according to us, you have not gone to any university. Because it was the first university in this country and known all over the world. So I applied, I didn't apply for medicine anyway, because I didn't do physics in school set. So the opportunity to apply for medicine was not there. So I read biochemistry. And in biochemistry, it was interesting. I was good in chemistry. So I registered to do biochemistry in University of Ibadan. Then was a Herculean task, because we had one professor called Professor Ulumi Asia, the great biochemist. Before he can register you, you will all line up to know whether you are qualified. Some of his colleagues will send their words to be taken in biochemistry. He will not do that if they don't qualify. So I read biochemistry, and reading biochemistry was very exciting, because it opened up opportunities for us to be employed in so many areas of life sciences and even beyond. So I won't say, oh, because I read biochemistry, that's the only thing I would practice. You could do anything. Some of my friends, when we graduated, went into accounting, some medicine, so many areas. But for me, I said, if I have to teach, I have to teach in a university. And actually that was going into research. So that was how I found myself in biochemistry. Am I okay? Or you want more?
Okay, Dr. I would like to say.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, for me, it's a long journey, just like ours. Then within, I only knew that I needed to do something about health problem. That was in my mind, because I come from a family that has different issues. I have sickle cell anemia, believe it or not. So growing up with sickle cell disease, I knew what my mom saw, and she had 3 of us like that. So you can imagine having 3 and all of them at the same time. So growing up, I find something to do about sickle cell anemia, find a cure. So that was in my mind, go and do medicine. When you do medicine, then you can, look at the health challenges out there. Then in 1994, I lost one of my elder sisters to HIV. And again, I saw what my mom saw, the pain and the way she cried. Then I think I was just in SS1 or so. And again, I was still looking at, is there no way we can have a solution to this? In as much as I didn't go into medicine, of course, JAM did his thing. And I came to Unilag actually, but I didn't do a BSc course. Interestingly, till tomorrow I still don't have a BSc, but I have 2 PhDs. So what did I do? I did science laboratory technology. The course is no longer here. They don't do it anymore in Unilag. And after science laboratory technology, I didn't take what life threw at me, because at then it was not easy at home. I decided I was going to look for a job. So, and lucky for me, I think God, sorry I had to put religion into it, kind of guided me into life science, because I got a job at NIMA. I decided when I finished I was going to do my my postgraduate diploma. I did my PGD, I did my MSc, and then I continued with the PhD. Now, even in all this, I decided that what I wanted to do was, is there a way we can find a problem to some of the problems facing humanity? So when you look at life science, do not only look at it about a career, as a career option. Look at what can you contribute to humanity. That contribution does not even have to be from health perspective. You see, all your speakers today have said something. It can be from a cosmetology perspective. It can be for, they bleach a lot in Nigeria. Is there no way we can look for a plant that we can add to a cream and it allows us to be lighter without having to change the... It can be from that angle. It can be from food, agriculture. It can be from any other thing. So for me, I would say passion. So find your passion in everything you do, and then you put it into your lifetime.
That was a very motivating answer, and I think I got one thing from it, which is not to only think about what career you want to do, more like what question do you want to answer, what problem do you want to solve. So I would like to also hear from Dr. Choji.
Yeah. Good afternoon all. So I'm a medical doctor. I train in University of Jos, but in the last 2 years I've not been in the clinic. Not because I'm being lazy, but when you go into clinical research, what you find out is that as much as we don't have a lot of doctors in the clinic in Nigeria, we absolutely have no doctors in clinical research in Nigeria. So when I started my journey in clinical research, most of my studies were in sickle cell disease. That's when I now started to notice that there is a very big void. So now I'm starting to gravitate away from the clinic, more into the life sciences, and there are a lot of opportunities. We want to talk about biotech, we talk about biologics, which is the new frontier for cancer therapeutics. So you find out that nobody is redundant when it comes to life sciences. All you need to do is find out where there's a problem, get information on where you can apply yourself, and you can move your career. Thank you.
So we'd like to hear your answer, Dr. Minari.
Okay, thank you very much. I think my own story would be probably similar to quite a number of you seated. Actually, to confess to you, I actually wanted to do medicine. That's the truth. So I actually wanted to, and my O levels was very, and that's one thing, my O level was very, very good. I did WAEC when so many people used to fail WAEC easily. You have to take it over and over. You have B7, people will be combining results. But I did it once and cleared all my papers. So initially, I didn't want to do medicine, but because of the level, it's medicine you are going to do from the school. There was no pursuit TME that time. You just get your JAM form, and then I just discovered that I wrote the JAM, the thing was not working. I wrote it again, it was not working. I mean, what's this problem now? All those people that I even taught in secondary school, they've all got admission. I was still at home. It now became a big concern. So eventually, I now did one again, and now I went with a few points. I missed it, but they now said, that medicine, no way. And the professor that was helping me that time is in biochemistry. He now said, he just told me that if you want to do biochemistry, I will just Called the HOD now, that was all, you are there. Reluctantly, I said, okay, sir. And I went there with the mind that I will do jump again. And I actually did jump again, but it did not work. So, throughout my first degree, I was just still there, just doing the biochemistry, just one thing. Yes, I was doing it, but I actually knew that I didn't apply my best. And that's why most of the time when I talk to you in the class, I can actually relate with some people. If it's not the course you actually chose ab initio, that force to study, to be serious, is not always there. So it was later, when I got to the postgraduate level, I actually worked a little bit, but not even in the field of life science. But later I went for my postgraduate studies. It was there I now began to see a different perspective about what we're being taught. Because initially we had a lot of pathways that I could not just even relate with, not even knowing that those are the basis of medicine, those are the basis of pharmacy, those are the basis for drug discovery, those are the basis for diagnosis. So it was at that level, by the time I just caught that picture that, oh, so all this has application, because I just thought it was just abstract thing, because they will be asking you, okay, what do you want to use the thing to do now? Are you going to teach biology, or you want to teach chemistry? That's what they always say. Are you going to teach biology? So it was awesome. But immediately when I now caught that area of research, it now changed my perspective, and all of a sudden I began to see a lot of opportunities in the area of research. Fortunately, before I finished, the day I defended my MSc was the day I got an offer to lecture in a private university. I went there before eventually coming to University of Lagos. And I now discovered that there are far more into research than I even thought. So initially I started all with medicinal plants and molecular biology. Not until I stumbled recently on genome editing, which I've been doing for quite some time now, and very, very interesting. You can even see that the sickle cell that we're even battling with now, students have a permanent cure, only that it's still very, very expensive. You edit the genome, you understand, it's a monogenic disease, you can just edit the genome, and that corrects it. And that comes to mean that most monogenic diseases that we have around, that means we have a lot of role to play. We can actually play around them and solve them. Most disorders don't have treatment. Your doctors just manage it for us. You just be coming, you'll be taking drugs, you'll be coming, you'll be taking drugs. But with genome editing now, you can just place a permanent solution to some of these things. And it becomes very interesting, and it's in fact, as we speak now, there is a new technology that even just came now, that is even almost superseding CRISPR-Cas9. They call it Cas-CLOVER. Cas-CLOVER now, you can even edit without cutting. And so when we begin to move into this space, that, and I'm very happy that some of those people that spoke with you are people that we have worked together here. And you can see, it's just, I think, what's his name? The other speaker, Tega. Mentioned something, he said, the life science band is very narrow here. It seems we are not, we are just coming up. And I hope by the time you two come on board, we'll be able to open up the space. Thank God for people like Dr. Fora that are doing great job in NIMA there. I think we are meeting for the first time, but we have interacted on phone, my students, going up and down, and I'm also happy our doctor here that is also drifting. In cell biology and genetics, we have even trained quite a number of doctors. I personally had doctors, medical doctors that are working, that have trained in this field now to add to their medical sciences. And and at that point, I didn't just have any regrets again. Okay, if the medicine I want to study now, I could not study the medicine. And I have doctors coming to me now that they want to now see how we can pull the gene here and place it here and remove this one and place it here. I think I'm satisfied. So I'm not envying Dr. Chuji anymore. Instead of going to the hospital, I'll just be in the lab and edit as many genes I can edit. Thank you very much.
I think it's interesting to know that even though the backgrounds and the reasons for entering, getting into this field, your fields were very different, the result is still the same. I think it's fair to say that you sitting here are some of the greatest minds we have in life science in Nigeria and even in Africa. So, and I think between all four of you, you have decades of experience and working experience under your belt. So I would just like to ask, from when you started and now, how has your field evolved over time?
All right, thank you. So it's very difficult to talk as a medical doctor or as a clinical researcher.
As a clinical researcher.
All right, so I would like to focus on clinical research in Nigeria because it's still very infantile. Earlier, the guy that gave the keynote talked about how where I work, Exim Research is the first indigenous contract research organizations that is able to conduct research in Nigeria and in Africa. Now, it's not a very good thing because if you know the history of clinical research, it's more than a century. Now, one of the big challenges that we have in Africa is the fact that we have a very heavy disease burden, but we have a very low research impact. So what it means is that the white man comes in, conducts research on molecules that they have created, and they take away their data. We end up buying the drugs. So to answer the question on where we are going to, we have not even started the journey, but at least some steps have been put in place. We are trying to go to a point where we start our own drug development in Africa, and it has to start with research and development. So we have a very long way to go, but there is so much hope coming up.
Thank you very much for that. A round of applause. Dr. Fowler, I would like to hear your answer.
Thank you very much. I was preparing a slide yesterday, and I was writing my name and my affiliation and how do I address myself. So I'll typically write Wina Fora, molecular epidemiologist, Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. And yesterday I looked at a molecular epidemiologist. Does it cover what you do? Do you understand? Because the field keeps on transiting and increasing. In fact, yesterday again, when I was looking at life science careers, I was seeing, in fact, I was even making up careers, Googling them and finding them with jobs vacancy on them. Wow. Geobiologists, biolinguistics, zymologists. I heard that one for the first time yesterday. Zymologist is a life science person that studies fermentation. So there are now teas that have undergone fermentation just because of the gut microbiome. That they find that, oh, there are some bacteria that are healthy for the guts. Now they can ferment antioxidant and they still look like tea. They are under life science. So I was like, okay, you've done, now you are looking at how microbes evolve with time. Should I call myself an evolutionary biologist? So at the end of the day, it's going to be like a Yoruba name. Have you gone to a Yoruba naming ceremony before? You know, the names are plenty, especially if there's a circumstance around your pregnancy. They will give you 30 names. Grandma, great grandma will send name. That is how life science is now. So you see how we have transitioned from one to the other. And again, please, let me give you one take home from every presentation today. For the first presentation, you said capacity building is important. Nobody is waiting for you in life science. You need to improve yourself. The second one said networking, collaborations. Do you understand? That is something I think I need to improve on. So please, pick that from the second one. The third one, I had to tell my party over there that data analytics. Last year, I saw one free webinar, World Bank, data analytics. Quickly, I did it. Forget that we are working and we are earning money. We are still doing online webinars and trainings, you know, to improve ourselves. Data analytics, how to handle big data. Immediately, that is another one. So pick that from the third one. And then the fourth one, thinking outside the box, problem solving. So you see, life science is evolving. Even at the end of the day, what we call ourselves is evolving. The physician here, even medical doctors don't want to stay in the clinic anymore because they have seen clinical research, clinical trials, vaccine trial, drug development. You need clinicians in every part of it, especially if you are going to work with humans. So if you talk about how life science has evolved with regards to my career, like I said, I started with trying to go for a way to find solution to all problems. Now I'm looking at how do we make research cheaper and easier using indigenous compounds that we can get in our locality to make research cheaper. Do you understand? So
For that, a round of applause. I think you were mentioning something about, no, I think you were mentioning something about the multiple job these things and different opportunities that are now popping up as regards to life science. So I would like to touch more on that. Like, what career opportunities exist for students in life science? I think that's a question that all of us are asking ourselves right now. And how can students prepare themselves for success in both academic and industry setting? Please can Prof. Opuzo take that question.
Job opportunity, like one of the presenters mentioned, the COVID, as bad as that period was, actually brought out the beauty of our course actually. And ever since, I'm aware that even some hospitals now are having labs, molecular diagnostic labs, they are coming up. I know quite a number of our graduates here that are actually engaged there, that are working there. Some of our students are also working in IVF centers, and they are doing very well there. I think I visited some IVF centers during your IT, and I met quite a number of them. And I also discovered that there is also a gap. They are finding it difficult to meet up, and which we have raised in the department. We're also looking for a way to enrich our own curriculum so that we prepare our students, those are going to be interested in developmental biology and along that embryologist side, and then those in molecular that can get jobs in the lab, apart from teaching, apart from also in research institutes, okay, I can also find a job to do elsewhere. So I think those are some of those things that are coming up, and there are a lot of areas too that we can also develop ourselves on. You see, one of my greatest passion, and I'm happy that the tone of your presentation today is different in the sense that we are now trying to open up the space or spaces of life sciences to see how you can fit in. Because what has been happening in the past is that we bring in speakers that speaks to our students after, like somebody rightly asked, after spending 4 or 5 years with strike or whatever, and then maybe you are now, they ask you to go and open a shop there, you are selling Bone Street or whatever, you're selling Wivon, you know, and quite more than 90% of the students. Meanwhile, there is a need. It's not that maybe there is no need, and that's why when you see most of them, when they travel out of the country, all of a sudden they become very relevant. This is a problem. Yes, they become a superstar. The doctor says something now, that we have a huge burden of diseases with us. But if all of us, everybody is just, we are just looking for money, insurance, you know. I told you one day that one day I went to somewhere in Lagos here, and somebody was just greeting me, "Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir." They were selling TV there. I said, "You don't know me." I said, "I don't know you." He said, "I finished from cell biology and genetics." So you are using our DNA and RNA to do. I'm not business, but it shouldn't be predominantly most of you. I know that you can have your skill too, but we need some. It's a space that we need people to fill in. So if first everybody is just, let me tell you something. You also mentioned it. Doctor also mentioned briefly, but it happens that most. Do you know? Somebody came from the US, come and take a sample here at Makoko here. Took a sample of Makoko behind us here, got a funding from WHO, and then presented it. And we from Nigeria, we sat there giving us data from our own backyard here. And they are making recommendations to us. I mean, and then government will now bring a policy paper on what somebody did for us. When all of us, we are going into banking and insurance and, you know, you understand my point. Doing pranks, some of you that are supposed to be good scientists, is prank and kids and comedy, you know, DJ, that everybody is just doing. So please and please, for those of you that are interested in science, I will encourage you. If you know that that is your area, you are struggling, there's no problem, I don't have problem. But there are some of you that actually you have that capacity. And also, I also need to stress it before I drop the mic. The issue of capacity building is very key. You must learn to develop skills along the line. You see, when Onyeka was here, like I told you, he actually developed that skill on that computational biology. You understand? We taught him here, you look for skills, any training that you get, you apply. Sometimes you can use your own money. Don't be stingy to get training. Go for workshops. By the time he got his PhD, he got 3 openings at the same time in the US from here. 3 openings at the same time that he got from here, based on what he has acquired, based on the training that he has acquired. And you can see that the sky is not even his limit. The sky is just the starting point. So I encourage you to, that you can go to any length. In this field of life science, you have not made a mistake. If you wanted to do any other course before and you find yourself here, I'm greeting you, congratulations, you are in the right place.
I will tell you all that you are a very lucky generation. People in my own generation entertain us. So chase it. However, as you're chasing your passion, you need a mentor. You need somebody who will guide you. Like I said, we didn't have mentors. Only God is your mentor and that will save you. But now, don't just stay here. Look at the 4 walls of a university and pass out without making any impact. There's so many things you can do with your life sciences. You can decide that, oh, I want to be a journalist at the end of the day. Being a journalist at the end of the day, you'll be reporting scientific writings. You can work with lawyers to get patents for people. So there's so many things you can do from reading life sciences. Don't think that what you are reading now, you are going to stick with it forever. No. Some of you will be great photographers. Doctors, in fact, I know a lot of doctors who said, oh, it's my parents I read this medicine for. That they would never have studied medicine because the work of a doctor is so tasking that they don't have time for themselves. People will tell you, oh, in the US they make a lot of money. They make money, time to spend that money. They don't have time to spend that money. But somebody who is into movie or doing one thing or the other, that is that person's passion, he will make so much money. In fact, some of you will just sit down at home, create websites or whatever, sell things and make so much money. So you don't have to say that, oh, I don't think I like what I'm reading. Read it because nobody is going to call you an illiterate at the end of the day. You've gone to school. And that gives you an edge over somebody who didn't go to school. I used to know one lady, she's a pharmacist, but the cakes they use for Nigeria during the independence, she makes them. But she read pharmacy. There are many scientists who are designers. So life science is good if that is your passion. If it is not, chase your dream. Chase your dream, and that is my advice. Thank you all.
All right, I think Prof has said it all already. How do you incorporate your passion into life science? Because a lot of people feel that life science is just about research or academia. No. I know about somebody now, I think the business is upcoming, but you do know that, okay, I'm in microbial genetics too. You can see when I say evolving. Microbes on plates, depending on the cultural media, can bring out different colors. Serratia marcescens is like red on nutrient agar, pseudo is green. The person is building company logos on agar plates now. And then he takes a photograph and sends to you, and people are ready to pay for that. Life science companies are ready to pay for that. I've given you an example about cosmetology. How can you improve? You are looking at the problem. Bleaching is increasing. is there a way I can put my life science knowledge? And mind you, life science is also fun. You know, they do parody of music now using life science techniques. There's even a competition on it. Hey, polymerase chain reaction, da 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 da, and you use it to sing. So Paul was saying script writing. Okay, what if I'm using, I want to be an actor and I'll write my scripts to show public health problems. Do you understand? Health challenges. You know, how students can incorporate. There are different, because life science is so fast. Please, show of hands. How many of you like mathematics here? How many of you would have loved to do computer science? How many of you would have loved to do engineering? But you do know that every science subject is under life science, and a few courses from engineering. We have biomedical engineers. He has mentioned computational biologists. They are on their computer throughout. We have mathematical modeling. We have geobiologists. You see, look at what else am I passionate about. If you have to work in the area of life science, because I feel life science is not exhaustive. In fact, we have what we call quantum, I saw it yesterday. It's not quantum physics, quantum biology. Man, what I saw yesterday, in fact, I was like, in fact, even under sociology, behavior, something, they mentioned the names, and they are all placed under life science. And what are the basic, foundation you need to have? You're already doing the courses. Next year, you can expand it to students that are also in microbiology, biochemistry, because they are all under life science. But the advantage you have is that you get to do, because of your genetics, you are looking at the DNA and you're going in depth into it. But I must tell you, when we went to school, the chemistry students, when Unilag did, the chemistry students used to say, what in the world is not chemistry? Now it is what in the world is not life science. It is so vast. You can look for your passion and put it inside life science. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that answer. I think Dr. Fowora and Dr. Minari also mentioned building capacity and building skills. So I would now like to ask this question. What skills do you think is important? Like, what skills are you looking for in a candidate that is entering a workforce in your field? Like, what skills would set apart one student from another student if they're entering a workforce in your field? I would like to start with Dr.
So for clinical research, I think the first criteria for anybody that is coming to clinical research, of course, is the interest. Then if you are interested in the work, you are going to put in the effort to achieve it. So that's what we look out for. The next thing, of course, is the knowledge that the person has been able to build over years. And like Prof mentioned, this is easily accessible through Google. So you look at the problem that we are having in a particular place, let's say Nigeria, then you develop interest based on that problem, and you approach somebody who hires that skill or who is going to mentor you on that skill. That gives you an easy access into job opportunity. Thank you.
The skills that we should acquire. I'm personally passionate about the science skills. We even forgot to mention the aspect of forensic biology, which you can actually key into. I remember when they started the forensic lab in Lagos State here, and one of our former students went there. The first question they asked him was that, have you worked on, because he said he did PhD forensic biology here, that have you actually worked on DNA before? Have you extracted DNA before? Have you done any work, laboratory work? They actually want to know whether he has a hands-on skill. You know, yes, they will still train you further, but there are some basic knowledge that you are expected to know. So for somebody in science, those skills are very, very important. If you're in computational biology, you can enroll for some of those trainings, workshops. When you see them, even if you have to pay, make sure that you get those skills. Some of them are certificated. You get certified even online. Here I also did some courses on forensic. I'm also certified online. okay, they will also train you and they will give you the certification. So basically, for those of us that are interested in the area of using biological researches to solve problems, or you want to work in that space, your skills in the laboratory is very, very key. And one of the panelists also mentioned the period of internship. When you go for a period of internship, and that is also very important. If, for example, now, if your bias is going towards maybe embryology, okay, your area of internship, probably you have done somewhere along that line, you begin to also acquire skills along that line. By the time you have the basic knowledge combined with what we taught you here, the ones you have, and the ones in fact, you even know the ones that you need to apply for, so that when the opportunity comes, because if you don't really see the need in you, when the opportunity passes you, you might not know. So, but when you know the gap, I was just interested in genome editing. I don't even know how to get about it. But when I saw the opportunity, I just applied. And I got the training free of charge. It was sponsored, it was paid for. I just applied for it and I was called. And that was why I left. So it's because I was not the only one that saw it, but because I just have it at the back of my mind that this is an area I'm looking for skill in this area and I want to follow this area. So based on the skill, the area of your interest that you want to get trained on, I will advise that most of us, we are online, like Prof said, we easily have access to some of these things online, information online that he can send to you. You can easily apply. The ones that you need to pay for, you pay for them. The one that you got free of charge, you go for them. Get yourself equipped, get yourself certified, and I can assure you that most of the time, if not all the times, those things is going to count for you by the time you are applying for one thing or the other. Thank you very much.
Okay, capacity building, right? Well, it depends on what area you want to look at. For me, I'm very big on capacity building, and I'm happy when students come in and say, we want to learn. It puts a smile on my face. One of the things the DG used to say is that, for Russia, once you enter our office, you see students, even when we don't have space. Please explore different opportunities. We know that we don't have as much advanced technology right here in Nigeria, but the bottom line is that when you travel abroad, even for your master's or your PhD, nobody will sit down with you at your workbench and be telling you, this is how you use a micropipette. This is how you do this. There are some basic foundational knowledge that you should have, and those you can get in country. Some equipment, how do you use them? I feel, I'm also very happy because we have what we call in NIMA interns IT season. That IT season was formed because of CBG students. That terminology was formed because of CBG students. We can have as much as 40 to 50 students doing IT. And the interesting part of it is that you are paying us to do the IT. But then I tell students, what you are paying 30,000 naira to do IT of 6 months, when you are done with your education and you are coming back and you say you want to do training, you will pay 150 to 50,000 naira. And the good thing is that you learn when you do your IT. Try, explore that very well. When you are done with your school, when you are done with your BSc, instead of sitting down at home, come, write us and say you want to volunteer. Nobody will pay you, but what you are learning is more than any payment that we are going to give you. Mr. Lukman Aroramimo was here, and he also talked about some of the trainings that they do at Inkaba. Explore this. Even if you have to pay, look for the money and pay. If you cannot pay, I think there are sometimes the approach is there, write a letter, I would like to, this is my passion is XYZ, I would like to do XYZ, and I would like to do this training opportunity, but I cannot afford it. You will be surprised at the amount of scientists or number of scientists that will say, oh, this person has the passion, come. Do not keep quiet and just be comfortable in your own skin. Do you understand? And one of the things I think I need to tell you is that when you have a car and it has fuel inside, what happens? It moves when you drive it. When you don't have fuel in the vehicle, no matter the amount of pushing you push that vehicle, it can only go so far. So you need to fuel your own vehicle first. So even if you have somebody that is willing to push you, you need to have the fuel in you. Do you understand? To be able to move. So with regards to capacity building, you can see I keep mentioning passion, passion, passion. You will be surprised about the amount of information that is online. Again, like I said, I did a small slide and I actually saw 3 summer opportunity abroad that is on my slide. So I will send it to Davis at the end of today. 2 of them, the deadline is today. But it's central clinical time, so maybe it's American time. You can still explore it after this. Just go and apply. They are both in Switzerland. The 3rd one, I don't know where it is, but the deadline is 15 February. If you do not try, in fact, that's what I'm telling myself now. Instead of saying, these grants, their requirement is too much, apply and not get it, instead of not applying at all. Do you understand? So that is part of the capacity building. So with regards to capacity, there are a lot of opportunities out there and things that you can do.
When they talk about capacity building, you have to train yourself. There are some areas you don't know anything about, but you are interested. So you have to go out to train yourself to fit into that space. A typical example is myself. I read biochemistry, yes, but from biochemistry, molecular biology, cell biology, what happened along my career path? I was going for training using my own money, not university money. Because if you wait for this Nigeria or university to train you, you are going nowhere. So you must make up your mind what you want for yourself and go all out for it. Like they said, there are some trainings online, some are free. However, don't let whatever, some people may not do very well now. However, any day you decide to do something and do it well, becomes your money. A typical example, I had a student, he did a master's with me and started PhD. Then he came to me and said, please ma, I got admission to read medicine and medicine is my passion. He thought I was going to discourage him. I told him no. Any day you wake up and you want to do something, that day is your money, and if you put all efforts into it, you are going to excel. He just graduated from medicine, and that's his passion. So you don't wait for somebody to come and say, come, let me drag you to do something. Make up your mind. At this age, at this stage now, you have to think of, what do I want to do for myself? Where do I find myself in the next 5 years? Because there are some of our colleagues, my own colleagues, if you see them now, because they didn't know what they wanted to do, they didn't plan well. Or when they're advising them as young people, they say, no, we will not hear. We will not go agree. But at the end of the day, some of them, when you see them, you won't even want to look at them. Because both of you started from, or even in families. So now is your money. When you leave whatever you're studying now and decide that I want to face another area of life, please go for it. But don't wait for somebody to ginger you. Ginger yourself, because there's nothing you cannot do. There is nothing you cannot do. I always use myself as an example. In secondary school, mathematics, I would always get 0. 0 in mathematics. One day I said, come, all these people passing mathematics, do they have 20 heads? And I said, no. So in class, if the teacher says you are stupid, I will write it down. You are silly, I will write it down. And that was how maths was no longer a problem, because if I didn't know maths, I won't study science. So for me, I believe that there's no hurdle anybody who makes up his or her mind cannot cross. So the time for you to make up your mind what you want for your future is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. Due to time constraints, we're going to have to round up a bit earlier than normal. But just before we go, I would just like to ask one last question to all of you. And in 1 minute, I would just like to ask, what advice, if you could give any advice to your younger self, taking this journey all over again from the beginning, what advice would that be? Like in 1 minute, what do you think you wish you would have heard when you were in our shoes or at our age? I would like to start with Dr. Joji.
All right. In the university, nobody taught us anything about clinical research. It's not in the curriculum of any school. For every day I spend in clinical research, I wish I had the information earlier, because I think I would have gone into the field a lot earlier than I did. So I've always been curious. So I mean, if I'm to advise my younger self, I'll still tell myself to be more curious than I think I am. Always look forward for opportunities, because there's so much of them out there, and nobody served anything on the platter of gold. My first interview into clinical research, I failed. I had to register for a seminar where they outlined things that I need to know to get an interview, to pass an interview into clinical research. I now went and studied the materials, good clinical practice. Then I went for an interview again, and I got it. So I would advise myself to be tenacious. I would advise myself to be curious, and that's the advice I will give each of you today. Thank you.
Dr. Minari.
Well, for me, if I have to advise my younger self, or if I'm given opportunity to live life all again, I would rather be a researcher early enough. Personally, I'm not somebody that is cut out for a routine job. It's not my person. I get easily bored. I can't do a routine job. For me to go to a particular place, sitting down, doing the same thing, I'll be doing that for 10 years. It's not my person. I easily get bored with things. So, and I am always interested in newer things. So if I had opportunity, what I'm just doing now, in fact, I was just telling Prof when we were talking there that there are so many opportunities I'm even giving my students now. I didn't have the opportunity. Nobody told me. We were not told. We didn't know. There are so many openings I always push my postgraduate students now, go and do. Nobody told me. I was not told. And now, when it was time that I would have gotten the opportunity, they said my PhD period was too long, that I cannot apply. You understand? So if I've realized so many things, I will have gone further in research, because I always want to see things in different ways and bring out things. Personally, I'm not too moved with maybe money. I'm interested more in bringing out something that will actually make my name to live forever, and people will say, yes, somebody actually did this, and it is. So that's actually what propels me, and that's why my mind is more into area of research than if I had the opportunity. So many things I'm doing now, I will have done them far earlier, and probably I will have gone far further, and probably most of you wouldn't have even known me. Thank you very much.
Dr. Fowa, please.
I think I'm going to tell my younger self, explore every opportunity. There are several opportunities that I'll look at and I'll be like, will you get this thing? But then, when you explore an opportunity, you still have a probability to get it, even if it is 1 in a million. But if you did not apply or take that opportunity, your probability is 0. There was something I applied for sometime last year. I am a procrastinator. It is, in fact, I wait till last minute. And when it's last minute, the inspiration comes from wherever it is. And then I'm able to do it. I'm trying to work on myself on that. And I was like, oh, the deadline is almost gone. But I decided to apply. And when we got in fact, when I saw the email, I was up. Hey, we got over 500 applications, and congratulations, you got in. And when I looked at the list of everybody that got it, we were only 2 Africans, myself from Nigeria and 1 South African. Now, I could have procrastinated again and say, this opportunity, we did take you. There are sometimes you feel that you are not good enough. Never let anybody feel inferior to them. Your journey is your own journey. Again, every opportunity that comes out, take that opportunity. Even if you do not get it, it is going to be a learning ground for you for greater things ahead. So if I'm going to advise my younger self, I'll tell her, please, all those opportunities you refuse to apply for or take, go back and take them. Thank you.
Well, for my younger self, Those years, I would say, there was no technology, no internet. I knew I would be in research, but the opportunities were not there. The opportunities were not there. So I won't blame myself for not having those opportunities. However, when I now entered the university system, I told myself, no mentor. I always tell people, I have no mentor. Nobody was telling me, oh, go and do this. Anybody who has, any student of mine who has worked with me, and they've push you, push you, push you, didn't have. So, found me. So, for today, I'm very grateful to God, because if I had entered the university system when I left the university, I would have been a professor a very long time ago. But never too late, because eventually I got to my goal, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
So with this, I think we've come to the end of this panel discussion. Unfortunately, we're not able to hold a Q&A session, but I would just like us to give a warm round of applause, a standing ovation if you must, for our wonderful panelists. They've taken time out of their day to inform us and educate us. So I would just like us to say thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you for this panel.
No hurdle anybody who makes up his or her mind cannot cross. So the time for you to make up your mind what you want for your future is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. Due to time constraints, we're going to have to round up a bit earlier than normal. But just before we go, I would just like to ask one last question to all of you. And in 1 minute, I would just like to ask, what advice, if you could give any advice to your younger self, taking this journey all over again from the beginning, what advice would that be? Like in 1 minute, what do you think you wish you would have heard when you were in our shoes or at our age? I would like to start with Dr. Joji.
All right. In the university, nobody taught us anything about clinical research. It's not in the curriculum of any school. For every day I spend in clinical research, I wish I had the information earlier, because I think I would have gone into the field a lot earlier than I did. So I've always been curious. So I mean, if I'm to advise my younger self, I'll still tell myself to be more curious than I think I am. Always look forward for opportunities, because there's so much of them out there, and nobody served anything on the platter of gold. My first interview into clinical research, I failed. I had to register for for a seminar where they outlined things that I need to know to get an interview, to pass an interview into clinical research. I now went and studied the materials, good clinical practice. Then I went for an interview again, and I got it. So I would advise myself to be tenacious. I would advise myself to be curious, and that's the advice I will give each of you today. Thank you.
Dr. Minari.
Well, for me, if I have to advise my younger self, or if I'm given opportunity to live life again, I would rather be a researcher early enough. Personally, I'm not somebody that is cut out for a routine job. It's not my person. I get easily bored. I can't do a routine job. For me to go to a particular place, sitting down, doing the same thing, I'll be doing that for 10 years. It's not my person. I easily get bored with things. So, and I am always interested in newer things. So if I had the opportunity, what I'm just doing now, in fact, I was just telling Prof when we were talking there that there are so many opportunities I'm even giving my students now. I didn't have the opportunity. Nobody told me. We were not told. We didn't know. There are so many openings. I always push my postgraduate students, now go and do, go and do. Nobody told me I was not to. And now, when it was time that I would have gotten the opportunity, they said my PhD period was too long, that I cannot apply. You understand? So if I've realized so many things, I will have gone further in research, because I always want to see things in different ways and bring out things. Personally, I'm not too moved with maybe money. I am interested more in bringing out something that will actually make my name to live forever, and people will say, yes, somebody actually did this, and it is. So that's actually what propels me, and that's why my mind is more into area of research than if I had the opportunity. So many things I'm doing now, I would have done them far earlier, and probably I would have gone far further, and probably most of you wouldn't have even known me. Thank you very much.
Dr. Fowler, please.
I think I'm going to tell my younger self, explore every opportunity. There are several opportunities that I'll look at and I'll be like, will you get this thing? But then, when you explore an opportunity, you still have a probability to get it, even if it is 1 in a million. But if you did not apply or take that opportunity, your probability is 0. There was something I applied for sometime last year. I'm a procrastinator. It is, in fact, I wait till last minute. And when it's last minute, the inspiration comes from wherever it is, and then I'm able to do it. I'm trying to work on myself on that. And I was like, oh, the deadline is almost gone, but I decided to apply. And when we got in fact, when I saw the email, I was up, hey, we got over 500 applications, and congratulations, you got in. And when I looked at the list of everybody that got it, we were only 2 Africans, myself from Nigeria and 1 South African. Now, I could have procrastinated again and say, this opportunity, we did take you. There are some times you feel that you are not good enough. Never let anybody feel inferior to them. Your journey is your own journey. Again, every opportunity that comes out, take that opportunity. Even if you do not get it, it is going to be a learning ground for you for greater things ahead. So if I'm going to advise my younger self, I'll tell her, please, all those opportunities you refuse to apply for or take, go back and take them. Thank you.
Well, for my younger self, those years, I would say, there was no technology, no internet. I knew I would be in research, but the opportunities were not there. The opportunities were not there. So I won't blame myself for not having those opportunities. However, when I now entered the university system, I told myself, no mentor. I always tell people, I had no mentor. Nobody was telling me, oh, go and do this. Anybody who has, any student of mine who has worked with me, and they've push you, didn't have. So, I found it. So, for today, I'm very grateful to God, because if I had entered the university system when I left the university, I would have been a professor a very long time ago. But never too late, because eventually I got to my goal, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
So with this, I think we've come to the end of this panel discussion. Unfortunately, we're not able to hold the Q&A session, but I would just like us to give a warm round of applause, a standing ovation if you must, for our wonderful panelists. They've taken time out of their day to inform us and educate us. So I would just like us to say thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you for this panel.